it's going to be a shame if they don't make the playoffs, which is what it looks like, and we don't get a Nazem Kadri appearance in a Calgary Flames uniform in the playoffs, because I think that would be really fun to watch. But man, you can't question this guy. He is Showtime. He is money, dude.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the In the Dome podcast. This show is a presentation of Bet365. Let's get right into it. The week that was, you beat Seattle on another kind of a thrilling OT winner by Kadri. He's the first Flame in franchise history to score back-to-back overtime winning goals. He's just been a monster as of late. This late season playoff push, Kadri has just been insane.
Showtime. Is that what they're calling him these days?
Yeah, what was that? Was it the second overtime winner? I forget which game it was.
It was a Seattle game, second overtime winner, yeah.
It was in the media afterwards. I think it was Frost nudging somebody on the bench. Like, here goes Showtime. Here he goes. Sure enough, back-to-back OT winners.
Man, the vibes were great after that, eh?
Kadri has just been fucking money.
He's been so good. And you know what? Like, I think he's been pretty much awesome his entire tenure in Calgary. And I know people kind of dog him for the Sutter year and say, oh, like he quit on the coach, this and that. I don't know if you remember that year, like he got pelted by Jacob Trouba. You remember that?
Oh,
he was really good up until that point. And then he got absolutely leveled by Trouba. I remember that game. It was a big brawl game. Lucic did nothing. Everybody else had to come to Kadri's defense, except for Lucic, of course. But he was never really the same after that game, and I kind of feel maybe he gets kind of unfairly painted with this. Well, he quit on the team brush that season. I kind of feel like he was pretty banged up because he comes back the next season. Took him a while to get going. Was really good last year. Again this year, pretty bad to start. Took him a while to get it into gear. When shit gets real, you can always count on Nazem Kadri. So,
no, he's just been a man on a mission as of late. I mean, that Seattle game, he scores 2 goals this game?
Yeah, he scored the game. It was 2-1 Seattle. He scores the game-tying goal in the third period. What did they say? I think they said on their broadcast last night, 15 of his 30 goals now have been in the third period or beyond.
And they're like game-tying or game-winning goals lately. Just
clutch,
crazy.
Dude. So clutch.
This game was kind of quintessential Kadri because Klapka opens up the scoring. Then they go down 2-1. It's third period. You're on a power play. Nas, sure enough, scores. Anderson scores right after. Stares down that autistic kid. Looked like he broke him for a moment.
He got a T-shirt.
It was good. Harvey came down, cheered us, lifted his spirits there, but yeah, that was funny, man.
That was hilarious.
And then there's a scrap in front. Well, not really a scrap. I mean, Montour dropped his gloves. Kadri didn't. Because why? Why didn't Kadri drop his gloves? Because he didn't want to be in the bench or in the box for 5 minutes. So he ends up getting 5 minutes for fighting. He was pissed, slamming the penalty box door, yelling at the ref. It's kind of a horse shit call.
Yeah.
He misses the first bit of overtime. Luckily enough, there's a whistle. Sometimes fucking there's not, and the game's over. Sure enough, he gets on in overtime. He's a man on a mission. Snipes. Back to back.
Absolutely freaking clutch. Hey, I'm confused why he got 5 for fighting and Perry didn't get it last night. It was kind of
because the reffing is just so fucking bad, dude.
Wishy-washy.
So inconsistent. I mean, this has been players been talking about it. I mean, obviously McDavid's a whiny bitch, but he's been complaining about consistency. You don't know what to expect. That Dallas game, give me a fucking break. We'll get into that in a sec, but after that Seattle win, the vibes are still immaculate, regardless of St. Louis still fucking winning every single fucking game. 9 straight now. These guys can't lose.
Could you do me a favor? Could you fuck off, St. Louis?
Could you? Would you?
Because that's what's so frustrating is that we're finally playing like some good hockey.
Yep.
Right? Like I think maybe, you know what, you didn't play your best game against Seattle. But, man, did you ever play a good game against the Dallas Stars? You played pretty well for about 45 minutes last night against the Oilers. Like you said, Kadri's been absolutely a man on a mission. He's got, 15 points this month? 10 goals, 5 assists, another 2 assists last night. Just a freaking beast. Finally, somebody other than Dustin Wolf is elevating. And that's, I think, what's so frustrating with the whole thing is that it's not even within your control. It's just like the Blues keep fucking winning.
Well, they posted that 8-game winning streak, and it was just Nashville, Chicago.
Yeah.
I think there was a Sharks game in there. They beat Minnesota, but that was kind of the only. They beat Vancouver. There's only Montreal. There's only one real playoff team in there.
Yeah.
But then they beat the Avalanche yesterday, 2-1. A good little defensive game from the Blues. You were rattling off some of these metrics. They are number one as far as
in terms of high danger chances against this season. At all strengths, the Blues are the best team. They allow the fewest per 60 minutes at all strength. Jim Montgomery, that was a fantastic hire for St. Louis. And hey, we've always been big Doug Armstrong fans. I've always really liked what Doug Armstrong has done in St. Louis.
Well, he fucking fleeced the Oilers, man. Like that I think is going to be come down to the reason why they make it into the playoffs is Holloway's having an unreal year.
Which, hey, if that's how we lose, if that's how we go out, okay.
Whatever. It was a unicorn season. Nobody expected us to be in a playoff race this late in the season. The games are still meaningful rolling into April.
Yeah.
We're not going to make it. Like, it's 20% chance, in money puck odds. But, like, you're looking at the Blues schedule. They got 7 games left. They got Detroit, Pittsburgh. There's an Avalanche. There's a Winnipeg, Oilers. Then Seattle, Utah to round up the season. They're just playing too well. I don't know. As of this morning,
all cylinders.
As of this morning, you're 7 points back of the Blues. I guess you can't say it's over till it's over. But you're looking at the Flames' upcoming schedule. You got the Avalanche and Utah back-to-back nights. Ducks. There's 2 games against the Ducks. There's 2 games against the Sharks. I don't know. I'm not going to say it's over yet. They're not quitting. Kadri's still a man on a mission. You still got Dustin Wolf between the pipes, even though I don't think he's been as dominant in the last 2 weeks. Stranger things have happened, but it is not looking good.
Yeah, I feel like it's never been more over because it's not even that. While you still have a chance, you have pretty much zero margin for error at this point.
Yeah.
And you have to count on St. Louis or Minnesota, like kind of stumbling and bumbling here. So that's going to be tough. Even just overtaking one team is usually tough when you have this much distance to, this big of a gap to close, and you have to take over Vancouver. Even though they're kind of a non-factor in all this, you still do have to get past them. And then
if you're going to somehow catch the Blues, I would imagine you're going to get past Vancouver.
Yeah.
So if you set your sights
you're probably looking at Mini right now over St. Louis would be the reality of the situation because they have one less game played, and you have a head-to-head against them. So you do have a 4-point game against Minnesota where you can make up some ground. So
7 points back on Minnesota as well. 2 games in hand, but you got that 4-point game, as you mentioned. So if you do win that, there's still a realm of possibility. And like you said, they're playing some good hockey.
Yeah, the other thing you have to consider is that the Flames, you can't just tie either of these teams because both of those teams have the tie break. Yeah. I think Mini right now has 33 regulation wins. St. Louis has 30. The Flames have 26. So you're gonna have to start not only winning these games, but winning these games in regulation or getting enough points to pass. Like we're getting into if this happens, we're getting into Doctor Strange 14,605,000 it only happened once territory here. So
like you said, there's no room for error. Last night they sat back, 5 minutes left in the game, trying to defend. We talked about it in the afterburner. We've been talking about this lately too. It's just like Husko was quoted a month ago saying, "Oh yeah, we only need 3 goals to win a game. We're so good defensively." For some reason, TSN media across the board is touting the Calgary Flames as a defensive juggernaut team. We're just not. It's not the case. You saw it last night again. Some of these teams historically can just shut it down.
Yeah.
Right? You think of the Jersey Devils when they were in their heyday, 1-0 games, got Brodeur back there, just actually good defensively. But I mean, you look at that Draisaitl game time goal last night. Frost kind of makes a weak play in the neutral zone, comes back the other way. Draisaitl just walks in unimpeded. You give that guy that much time and space, you're gonna get bit.
Well, he had been given a lot of time, well, created for himself because he absolutely dominated last night. But they gave him, and I mean, okay, the Flames did an okay job. Like Draisaitl's going to get his, right?
Yep.
But he had 3 or 4 or 5, 6 grade A opportunities that Wolf stopped prior to that. 3 for sure. You can't just keep letting this guy get clean shots. Like he's going to bury, and he did. So
you saw the Dallas game too, just defensively, some of these. I mean, Wolf's doing his part. He's making the first stop, but there's no defense there to deal with the rebound.
Well, yeah, and it's something that's kind of maybe even borne out more so than even in the numbers, is that this is just kind of maybe the reality setting in of the blue line being what it is, right? You're talking about that Dallas game, like Miramanov gets absolutely walked by Wyatt Johnston.
Just Wolf makes the first save, and then
Wolf makes an unreal first save, and then he's just allowed to just pot the rebound, right? So even in some of these games where, maybe they are controlling play like they did against Dallas, obviously, there's still some personnel problems. And when Wolf isn't, I think what you're just seeing is just, this is kind of the result when Wolf isn't playing out of his mind. Not that they're a Chicago or a San Jose or one of these teams that's so bad defensively, but it's just like when you can't score and you're kind of like just in the lower end of the defensive teams in the NHL where you do allow probably a little too much and your goalie's not stopping everything he's seeing. Like you're kind of getting the result you deserve on a lot of nights. When you play teams like the Oilers, when you play teams like Dallas, these teams that they only need one shot to score. They only need 3 or 4 scoring chances to burn you. And that's what we saw last night. Like I thought the Flames actually played a pretty tight game. And then you just sit back, and you can't sit back.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win is a barn burner. Every face-off, hat-trick, power play, shot on goal, penalty shot, and every suspenseful minute in between is amazing. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Download the Bet365 app and use the code NATION to get in on the game. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly. We brought this up last night too. You compare that to Sutter teams, just heavy forechecking teams. Alternatively, instead of sitting back on your heels for the last 5 minutes trying to defend, forecheck the living hell to those guys. I mean, that's what you absolutely just loved out of the Sutter teams. Even though it was low skill, like they grinded and they were defensive. The defensemen down the other team, they just spent a lot of time in the offensive end. That's the best way to defend. Spend time in the offensive end.
Well, and there's a great, Darryl reframed it when he took over that second time, where he said he needed to install a belief system, not a relief system. And meaning that you need to believe you're going to win in the third period when 100%. It is 2-1 and you're going to protect that lead. You need to know, we got this because we're going to fucking take it to them. As opposed to like, holy shit, guys, we can maybe do this. Oh, thank God.
What a relief.
Woo, we did it, boys. And that's kind of what the Flames have fallen back to this year.
Yeah, you got to stay in the driver's seat. You can't be in the passenger seat. And that's basically, it's passive hockey. It's just, and when teams have that amount of skill like Draisaitl, I don't know, man.
Well, and especially against an Oilers team last night. Like I said, I think the Flames played a pretty good game limiting, but you kind of wish they would have taken advantage of, obviously, no McDavid. I think no Ekholm is maybe even the bigger thing. Their blue line is a bunch of like, who's that guy? It's kind of a comedy of error. Not really, but all you've really got is like cross-eyed Magoo back there, and some of these guys who are not particularly sound defensively. You could have exposed that with a heavy forecheck last night, get in behind the defense, make them make mistakes. That's how you beat the Oilers. Really, that's how you beat the Oilers. You make them play. You make them defend.
Yep.
So it seemed like another just kind of missed opportunity tactically
on Huska.
It was
plus bad. Just we don't have the.
We just don't have
outside of ball.
You just don't have
pretty solid, but outside of those two, like defensive wise, just too many gaps.
Yeah,
I'm looking at this Wild schedule here. I think you're right, man. We got to catch the Wild if you want to have a chance of this. They play Jersey, then the Rangers, who are playing better than the Islanders. That's not an easy road trip. Well, I mean, we just swept it, but you know, kind of got it out of there by the skin of our teeth on a couple of those games. Then they played Dallas. They got the Sharks and the Ducks, but they also have the Flames of the Canucks. I think it's going to be interesting, man. As long as these guys still have belief in there, and some of those vets are still pushing the way they have been, and Kadri keeps doing what he's doing. If Wolf can find that other gear again and maybe steal you a game or two when you need it, but like you said, man, no room for error, no room for fucking getting hosed by the refs, man. That Dallas Stars game was infuriating to be at.
That was
You were there. I was there.
That was straight out of 22-23 in terms of frustration level. That was so unreal, man.
Hintz opens the scoring, then you get that kicking goal.
I'm so fucking sick of this shit.
These things are just like, it's a 50-50 coin toss. These kicking motions. Like, did you see distinct kicking motion?
Dude,
he more than anything, he's just angling he's
directing the
foot. He's angling his foot. Maybe there's a bit of follow through, but how do you call that a distinct? How's that distinct? Especially if you're going to overturn it. Is this just because Waugh fucking said, "Oh yeah, Toronto's afraid to over"? Now they're fucking erring on the other side of caution. It just seems so up in the air. There's no consistency.
Nobody knows.
Fuck, it's frustrating, dude.
It's insanely frustrating. Imagine being a player. That's what I just imagine. Being Blake Coleman. How many fucking goals does this guy have called back in his career as a Flame? Seems every single one is some Bush League call. But you're Blake Coleman, right? You're the Flames. You've been pushing. You're playing the best game you've played all season. Hey, talk about that. That really probably crushed a belief system there. It's like you finally, yes, we got one. Farabee actually breathed on the goalie.
Dude,
he breathed in his face, and that's actually goaltender interference. So
there's a lot of times when they do these replays, I don't know what they're gonna do. This was one of those ones where I'm like, there's no fucking way they're calling this back. Yeah. Like I'll see that 10 times, just like there's zero contact, zero. Their jerseys touched. Did their jerseys touch?
Did he?
Farabee was outside of the crease, even wasn't he,
bro?
And then the rationale he gets, if the shot was on the other side of the net, it would have been good, but because it was glove side,
if it goes blocker, if it goes blocker side or it goes glove side, you're fine there.
At that point, dude, it could have been the whiskey, but fuck, man, if I was sitting in the lower bowl, man, I would have threw something on the ice 100%. I was almost semi-shocked there was no garbage on the ice because that was just fucking garbage, dude.
There was a little kid in front of us having a full-on, I think this is like, he could have been my son. He was having a full-on meltdown after that one. He was crying. He was, no, it's not fair. Which is true, though. I just don't get how there can be no consistency. And like Elliot and Ron did a segment on it last night in the intermission of the Leafs game. Just like showing all these batshit insane calls over the last week. And there's no consistency.
Zero.
And everyone's trying to make sense of it. And it's like, this doesn't count. This doesn't count. This counts. It's just like, you can't make, and the ones you think shouldn't count. The one Philly scored a goal where somebody goes right behind the Montreal goaltender, like runs right into him, bumps him, tons of contact. That's a goal. And then you see the Farabee one. There was a goal in the Columbus game the other night that was like super chintzy. And it's just like, what is this shit? And it's insanely frustrating. You're at a game, you're watching, you want to be excited, and every time they score, you're just kind of like, oh fuck, can I be excited?
Fuck. Even last same thing. Pahal gets the goal last night, but you see Pickard complaining, you're like, oh fuck, I can't even celebrate now when we score goals.
Exactly. It's just like, oh, it's really fun. It's a really fun league. Gee, I wonder why nobody wants to watch the fucking NHL, eh? It's really fun to watch that. Oh, what a goal, insane goal. Oh, they're looking at their fucking iPad on the bench. That might have been somebody breathed on the goalie 45 minutes prior to.
It's a fucking joke, dude. It's an absolute fucking joke. I think what they need to do is there needs to be some serious fucking training on this because this is ruining games. We're just talking Flames. Like I don't know across the league how many teams have just got fucking hosed like that, but it's unacceptable, man.
Well, the Flames we always get hosed, and maybe it's just us thinking that. It really does. It seems we get hosed at the biggest moments, right? Stanley Cup final, Blake Coleman in Game 5 against the Oilers, distinct kicking motion, my fucking asshole.
Fuck that, dude.
Connor Zeri's goal, Like in the biggest game of the year, the Flames need to have that. They played so well. They absolutely dominated all night. To have 2 bullshit goals called back, I've said this before. I feel like there's just I just imagine the situation room in Toronto, and it's just a big fuck Calgary button just sitting there. And it's like, oh, we haven't met our screw Calgary quota in a while. Boo, press the button. It's like, boo, the lights go off. How can we screw these guys tonight? It was just infuriating. Like, and that probably cost us our season. Like, that's not an exaggeration at all, I don't think.
Yep. I think the NHL absolutely has to address this. A lot of people say they don't know what the answer is. I think what you have to do is it needs to be a massive training program for officials. Like, I think they need to get in the net. They need to understand what it's like to have you should be able to have a minuscule amount of incidental contact.
It's a contact sport.
It's a contact sport, man. If the goalie's coming out and he's being aggressive and challenging the play, I've seen multiple times where the goalie comes out and they are the ones pushing off the player. They're the ones initiating contact, and then it's a no goal. Like it's infuriating to be at like you said, in that magnitude of a game for the Flames, an absolute must win. St. Louis is rolling. You need every single fucking point. To have 2 goals called back like that. The first one was chintzy, but the second one, that should be a fucking goal every fucking time.
I think you have to abolish this video review. Like, you really do. Like, it's absolutely out of control. Because now if you're a coach, like, what do you have? Very rarely are you going to lose it if that's the standard. So you just, like, even if you're not totally sure, you're like, well, there's enough there. Because it's really gone from there has to be enough evidence to overturn it to, like, the exact opposite. It's like, well, there has to be incredible evidence to prove that actually there wasn't goalie interference. It's like, it's completely gone ass backwards. And I don't even,
I mean, dude,
I don't care if you miss a call once in a while. Like, that would be preferable to me than this shit. Like, this is getting so bad.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long-form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.